Speaker is Dr RMK Ratnayake. He is the Director of the National Center for Advanced Studies, Ministry of Higher Education. Dr. Ratnayake holds a BA degree from University of Peradeniya in 1970 and MSc in Economics from University of Wales, UK in 1978, and a PhD in human nutrition. I was also surprised to hear that Dr. Ratnayake has a PhD in human nutrition from University of London in 1989. He has whole lot of he had been holding a whole lot of positions, and he has been assistant lecturer at University of Colombo from 71 to 72, and then finally he became the Secretary to Ministry of Youth Affairs, Sports and Samurdhi in 1994, and was in the position until 2000. He also became the Secretary, Ministry of Land Development and Export Agriculture from 2000 to 2001, and Additional Secretary, Ministry of Finance and Planning from 2001 to 2005, and Secretary to Ministry of Trade, Marketing, Development and Consumer Services from 2005 to 2007. You have been the Secretary in all the ministries, it looks like, and Secretary to the Ministry of Trade, Marketing, Development, Cooperative and Consumer Services 2007 to 2008, and very many publications. If I say all this, I will consume all your time, 15 minutes, and Professor Dr. Ratnayake will present on achieving national economic growth in the midst of global challenges, economic and social equity. Over to you, Dr. Ratnayake.
Thank you so much, Shanika, and thank you for everybody, ladies and gentlemen. This probably is a different topic. The first one. The theme of the conference is on the development hubs, and one would wonder how this issue of equity give me 1 minute, always this
Can we, is there any technical problem? Otherwise we can proceed with the next invited speaker and but it is there. It's already there here. It appeared on the screen. There was no problem. Computer didn't work. save time, maybe I will brief what was presented by Professor Mahaliyana Arachi. Professor Mahaliyana Arachi, who is an expert in this field of tourism, he presented the history of tourism in Sri Lanka and the importance of tourism, and then he concentrated on the new avenues for tourism, especially for socio-economic development, especially for the rural sector, where the ecotourist sites are being located. He defined the alternative tourism and gave examples such as agro, eco, cultural, and he briefed the importance of these areas which can effectively contribute to our socio-economic development. And finally, he said he has developed a company. I think we like academics. Internationally, the academics all have their own companies, which is a win-win-win situation, win-win-win situation, win to the academic, win to the country, win to the academic, win to the institution, and win to the country. So this is what we are trying to promote, even from University Grants Commission, academics to develop their own company in their own discipline, so that it will provide more employment as well. Okay, thank you.
Right, we are there. This one, the Sri Lanka as a hub in Asia, the way forward, economic development and income inequality. The important issue is what we mean by development. Development is for the people. If people don't get the benefits of development, there's no need to have such a development, because the purpose of developing a nation is to give the benefits fully to the people in that particular country. What has happened is that over the past decade, global output has grown by more than 3% a year, and inflation has slowed in most regions. The fruits of this growth have not been shared equally. This will never happen. However, not equally, and income disparities have grown in many countries, developed as well as developing. This is a problem, because if we don't keep the equity in a society, the society will develop its own problems. That is what we have seen in 1971, 1978, and perhaps these are important issues for us to look at. So any socio-economic and general development, what we looked at basically is to make an equal situation as much as possible. Equality is not a possible concept. There was a economist in Rome, Italy, called Pareto. He was looking at the general distribution of wealth. He said the 80% of the wealth owned by very few people, and 20% goes to the others. We are much better than that. I'll show you later. If you try to, your 80% of your business, you get it from very few people, like 10-15% of the population. If you try to increase it to 100%, you have to get another 60% to it. It's costly and it's not no use to do that. Now, the subject that we are dealing with today is on 5 development hubs of Sri Lanka. That's the economic concept developed in Mahinda Chintana Idiridakma. One is maritime hub, you all know that, the aviation hub, commercial hub, energy hub, and knowledge hub. We are in the higher education sector looking at that particular one. If you look at all these things, these are long gestational period type of projects. None of these things will bring short-term benefits to the economy. It will bring benefits, but they are long-term. So we have to live with it. So what we are looking at, this is His Excellency the President has presented in his budget, poverty-free upper middle income economy. That's the vision of that 2013 budget. A country with food, water and environment security, and approaching a path to a technology revolution through quality education and skills development, because you need the last two to bring a change in basically the technological revolution. It's not easy, but that is something that we are looking for. This is what the Central Bank Report 2012, the last one said, Sri Lanka aims to be a regional economic hub, driving GDP growth through increased and diversified export of goods and services, requires harnessing of full potential of infrastructure development. So that is what those first 4 hubs of the 5 hub concept. We are basically looking at infrastructure development. This for the long-term development of the country. A strong human capital base. You can't do anything without having a strong human capital. That is the last one, the 5th one that we have mentioned. Based on enabling institutional environment. Human capital itself is not sufficient. You need to have environment, the institutional environment to use that human capital and infrastructure. So what is economic inequality? Economic inequality, both wealth and income differences, has existed in a wide range of societies and historical periods, nothing new. Countries' economic structure or system, capitalism, socialism, closed economy, open economy, ongoing and past wars, we don't have ongoing war now, these are the world context, and civil conflicts and differences in individual abilities to create wealth are all involved in creation of economic inequality. You see, when the American election results were announced, when Obama contested for the first time, his wife asked him, do you believe that America is a free society? Because a black man never expected to be the president of the United States, and he is not even rich. So that's the opportunity. That is individual abilities to create both wealth and positions in the society. Those are very important things to look at. What we are looking in equality, you see in our economic policy, these are the things that we are looking at in general. Equal life chances. Everybody in this society should be able to achieve a certain thing irrespective of his position. There should be differences in outcome based on factors for which the people cannot be held responsible. Equal concerns for people's needs. Some goods and services are necessities and should be distributed according to the level of need. You see, the Sri Lanka, is considered as, not considered, is a welfare state. In 1950s, during Dr. Gamini Korea's time, I don't know whether you have heard of that name, we invited almost all the Nobel Prize winners of economics to visit Sri Lanka and to make recommendations. One of the things that they have said, there was a professor called Ursula Hicks. She said, Sri Lankans ate the fruit before they plant in the tree. We didn't have resources, but we distributed what we had. That is what was called the food stamps, not the food stamps, food ration. I'm sure none of you have been there. Many of you have not been there at that time. If you go to the ration shop, surrender your coupon card, you get 2 measures of rice free. And this is the only country where the education is entirely free. You can go up to the medical college, get your degree, and you can go to Washington DC and practice. We don't catch the man, and they are doing it. And this is the only country on earth, still they are doing it. When you go to India for various discussions, they say, we envy you because we cannot do it in India. So, equal concerns. The third one is on merit. People should get things on merit. So those are the 3 things philosophically one can look at as equality. I will show you now, I told you the programs that we are having in the long-term gestation, so you don't expect the very short-term results, but obviously 2 things will catch up, this emerge. One is high inflation, because when you spend more money today and less goods, if you don't immediately produce goods, there will be inflation. So see the differences, but of course we are lucky that we don't belong to Pareto's 80%. Lowest 20% get 4.5% of the total income. This is in 2012, 2009-10. Middle category the top line is the income, 8,211 is the income. The second category is 16,062 rupees, 8.8%, cumulatively 13.3% of the population. Middle 20, that is 23,880, 13.1% of the total income that they receive, 26.4. You see, 60% of the population is getting 26%, 26.4% of the national wealth. And look at the next category, middle upper 20%, 45.9%. We actually don't know, out of this 45.9%, there may be about 25 people getting 40% of that. I mean, this can happen because the reason for that is the wealth distribution. You can't equalize everything. Those who are having resources can generate more. So this is what we have right now. So what we are trying to do is to change it gradually. You can't change it equally, but you can improve the conditions of the bottom to 40%, that is lowest and low mid. That's one of the policies that the government is interested in pursuing. Now, you see, we had 3 or 4 types of, I don't know my timing, I will just try to. The first one is 1948 to 1959. 59 is a watershed. That's the first time that we were trying to get an international loan to buy things. You know that there's a project called Galloya. Entirely we hired the American company to do that. That's our Sri Lankan money, because during the wartime 1940s, we couldn't spend our money. We exported things and we couldn't import things, and the reserves that we had were used to develop Galloya scheme that is entirely funded by the Sri Lankan government. Look at the growth patterns. The first one is 1948 to 59. We call it the welfare economy. Then you have the 60 to 72. That's the time that we use both industry and agriculture as a tool to develop the country. The large industrial projects like Kantale sugar, then various other large projects came during that period. Then of course 72 to 78, we didn't have enough food to go around. We have all sorts of problems. That's the time that we caught up with the international oil price hike, and we couldn't, there's nothing for us to export at that time. And it's called the inward-looking economic policy period. We didn't have enough food to go around. Then of course in 1979, you all know, we opened up the economy, and there are little modifications since. Now, what are we looking at? We are now equity in 2 forms. As I said, one, that personal income, the other one is regional disparities. If you happen to live in a place like Anuradhapura, Polonnaruwa or Monaragala, your chances of getting into engineering faculty or medical faculty in the university is extremely slim. That's because we still produce, after 60 years of 60 years of independence, 2012, 2011, all students for the medical school came from 2,211 schools out of 10,000. There's not much of difference. Only engineering, that little wider, it was about 312 schools. So it is urban, concentrated in urban areas, but of course it has penetrated to others as well. Poor students used to come to university to do medicine. So this is. The other one is, look at the distribution of these patterns. 45% of the production, 8% of the population is in western region. Nearly 2/3 of the economy in the service sector in that. And economic growth, if you take, we have much better economic growth in the western province compared to Monaragala and other areas. So there's a disparity within the country. All the industries are located in the western province, and poverty declined very quickly in the western province compared to the poverty in other sectors. So you have rural, urban, state disparity, you have provincial disparities, and these are the sort of things that we need to look at when we are talking about economic growth and trying to create less. Now this of course is only an indicative. I mean, don't take it very seriously, numbers. One, you see now, if you add up all these things in 2005, it comes to 100. So if you change something, the numbers have to change from somewhere. So in 2005, Colombo, Western Province, contributed 50.8 to the gross domestic product in the country. It got reduced to 44.5 in 2011, meaning there's nothing much has changed in the Western Province, but other provinces got more. Look at the Northern Province, 3% to 3.7, it will grow more. And see the Southern Province, 8.9 to 11, that is airport, we have the harbour and various other infrastructure development. So it is happening that Eastern from 4.7 to 5.7, Northwestern 8.9 to 10. The reason for that is basically it is adjoining the Western Province. Look at Sabaragamua, not much of growth. Central a little, but not much. Uva is the worst, 4.5 in 2005, even today it's 4.5. These are the sort of other things that one need to look at when we are talking about the growth scenarios in the country. As you all would like to see this, but these numbers will not translate into personal income because the mean and median are statistical concepts. These are 2012 surveys. There are about 25,000 households, only 5,000 included here because the rest of the survey had to go. Urban, it's only 17% of the population. Mean income is 25,708. Median income that's basically the statistical concept. People won't get this sort of money. The rural, 24,000, rural seems to be better off. Median, 15 point, the disparity is high, one could see. That's why these two numbers are different. State sector 15,000, 11,000. I'll finish it. So average monthly real and nominal, this is another important thing. Obviously our mean per capita income in rupee terms increased from 26,000 to 46,000 during the last 6-7 years. But if you look at the real income, if you take the inflation out, 26,000 to 27,000. It's less than 5%. Okay, thank you.